Hello students and parents. I'm going to explain to you the vertical column method. This is something that the children should know what it is about. We're just going to be multiplying with bigger numbers now. Please remember what you need to know beforehand is the children need to know the meaning of the word vertical and column. So if I think of an example of something that's vertical, I will think of a tower. Okay. So when we are working with the vertical column method, it means that we write the numbers in columns. So this will be the column for the units, and that's a column for the tens, and that's a column for the hundreds, and they're written from top to bottom. Okay, so that is the idea of top to bottom. That's the idea of the vertical word, the meaning. Okay, so vertical column method in columns, and we work from top to bottom or downwards. Right, so first let me just explain what we see here. This is an example of a vertical column method. We have a 3-digit number multiplying with a 2-digit number. But you need to remember the place value or the values of these numbers. So when I look at this digit here, that's a 2 and it's in the place of the unit. So this number will be multiplying with a 2, and there are 2 sets of answers here in this method. So we're going to multiply with a unit first. So the first answer will be the answer of the units. Then when we're done multiplying the digits with a 2, or this number with a 2, we're going to multiply with that 4. But in actual fact, the 4 is actually 40. So that means that the number multiplies with the tens. Okay, so the second set of answers, or the second answer here refers to the tens. Okay, and then you need to remember that when we are multiplying with the tens or the hundreds or the thousands, you are requested or required to remember that if I think of 40, I think of 4 and 0, right? So that 0, this 1 0 will be written here, and then I will take each digit and I will multiply it with 4 on its own. And that is like multiplying with 40. When I write the 0 at the end and I multiply with a 4 on its own with each other digit of the first number. Right, so then when we've got the 2 sets of answers, then you end up adding them together. So I'm going to explain this again using the examples I have here ready for you. So please listen carefully. Okay, so we have big numbers here. We've got a 4-digit number multiplying with a 3-digit number. So I'm going to write it out. 1,268 times 584. Okay, now look what we have here. We don't have a 2-digit number, we have a 3-digit number. So we're going to have 3 sets of answers. So it's going to be, we're going to multiply with a 4, which represents the units. Then we're going to multiply with the 8, which represents the tens. And then we're going to multiply with a 5, which represents the hundreds, because this is 500. Okay. Right, so 8 times 4, we're going to multiply, first of all, write down the answers, and then we're going to add them together. 8 times 4 equals 32. So I take if I think of, let me just write this, 8 times 4 equals 32. The 2 is the unit and the 3 is the 10. So when we're multiplying using this method, we write the unit in the answer, in the space where the answer comes, and then you take the 10, the 3, the 30, and we just take it over, and then we carry on with the method. So now it's just hanging there. So 6 times 4 is 24 plus, and we add that now because it's a 10. So 6 times 4 is 24 plus that 3 is 27, and then that 2 goes over because it's now it's in the place of the hundreds. 2 times 4 is 8 plus 2 is 10. So then you write that 1 over there. 1 times 4 is 4 plus 1 is 5. Okay, so this is the answer of the units. And now we're going to multiply with the tens, which is that 8. Now remember, this 8 is actually 80. But we take this 0 and we write it here. Okay, and now we can just multiply each digit with that 8, and your answer that you will get will be the same as, say, 1268 times 80. Okay, so the 0 is written here. 8 times 8 is 64. Then 6 times 8 is 48, plus the 6 is 54. Then 2 times 8 is 16, plus the 5 is 21. And then 1 times 8 is 8, plus the 2 is 10. Okay? Pay attention that I'm writing my units and tens and hundreds neatly, one under the other in columns. Okay? Right, so now I reach the third set of answers, and that will be the hundreds. So if you ask yourself, we're multiplying with 500 really. So if I think of how many zeros are there in the 100, there are 2. So I'm going to write 2 zeros here now. Okay, so I write 1 0 for the tens, but 2 zeros for the hundreds. And now I'm going to start taking each digit and multiplying with that 5. 8 times 5 is 40. Then 6 times 5 is 30, plus the 4 is 34. Then 2 times 5 is 10, plus the 3 is 13. And then that 1 times 5 is 5, plus 1 is 6. And then we add them together. So 2 plus all the zeros remains 2. 7 plus 4 is 11, and the 10 goes over. 1 plus 4 is 5. 5 plus 1 is 6, plus 4 is 10, and the 1 goes over. 1 plus 3 is 4, and then 1 plus 6 is 7. So your final answer here is 740,512. And now when you calculate it, now you may use your calculator and type this in and see whether you get the same answer. Right, let's do another one. 2,685 times 437. Now remember, how many digits do you see here? We have 3. So you're going to have 3 sets of answers. So the first one will be for the units, then the tens, and then the hundreds. Okay, so we're going to start with 5 times 7 is 35. 8 times 7 equals 56, plus 3 is 59. 6 times 7 is 42, plus 5 is 47. And 2 times 7 is 14, plus the 4 is 18. Okay, and now I go to the next value, and that is the 3, which is actually 30. So I'm going to write the 0 of the 30 here and then continue with the 3. 5 times 3 is 15. Okay, 8 times 3 is 24, plus 1 is 25. 6 times 3 is 18, plus the 2 is 20. 2 times 3 is 6, plus the 2 is 8. Okay, and now I'm going to start with the hundreds. There's the 4, so it's 400. 400 has 2 zeros. And now I'm going to continue multiplying with the 4. So 5 times 4 is 20. 8 times 4 equals 32, plus the 2 is 34. Then 6 times 4 is 24, plus the 3 is 27. And then 2 times 4 is 8, plus that 2 is 10. And now we're going to add them together. So 5 plus all the zeros remains 5. 9 plus 5 is 14. 1 plus 7 is 8, plus 5 is 13. 1 plus 8 is 9, plus the 4 is 13. 1 plus 1 is 2, plus 8 is 10, plus 7 is 17. 1 and 0 makes 1, and then the next one comes down. So then your final answer here is 1,173,345. So that's your final answer. Okay, so please remember 3 sets of answers. Remember, with your tens, you need to write 1 0 here. With your hundreds, you need to write 2 zeros. And also remember to write neatly. Make sure your units, all the units are in line from bottom to top. The tens and the hundreds, all of them are written neatly in columns. That's why we call this the vertical column method, because you use those columns. Right, then we move on to your homework for the day. You will see I'm going to ask you to do the same question as yesterday. I want you to use the same number so that you can see with a different method you will get to the same answer again. Right, and then I want you to go to page 91 and I want you to do number 3, A, B, C, and D. Remember my note, use the method that I'm teaching you on the day. So today I want you to use the vertical column method, not your own method. You need to get used to different methods and ways of solving problems. And then check your answer with a calculator after completing the work. Right, so I hope you enjoyed the lesson. I hope you understand it and have a good day.